All right, so tell me what's going on here. We got a bag full of rats.
Yeah, we're gonna eat them today.
Which are, where did these rats come from?
They come from my uncle.
Come from the, like in the rice field?
Yeah.
So you ordered them.
Catch it. Yeah, I ordered them.
You ordered them from who?
My uncle.
This guy here?
Yeah.
Okay. And what happens?
We're gonna cook them up and eat them tonight.
I love rats. Is this a special occasion? Or no, just because.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. Thank you. So let's talk about why I'm here. Why would I move to a rural village in the middle of Thailand, 4 hours away from Bangkok, way off the beaten path of where any tourist would normally go? Fair question. Pinky's from this village. We've been married probably 20 years now, and I've been here a handful of times. And every time I'm here, and I've been kind of joking over the years that I usually will ship Pinky out here a week or two before I arrive, because after about 30 minutes in the village, I'm bored to tears and ready to go somewhere fun, like down to the coast, Koh Samui, or even up to Chiang Mai, or anywhere but here, right? I want something else, that's somewhere else where things are happening, things are going on. And all of the times that I've been here, I just didn't see this place as that. It really wasn't until we drove and spent, I don't know, 8 months down in Central America, between Mexico and Costa Rica, Panama, as part of our 2-year van life journey that we wrapped up middle of last year, that my perspective on this stuff really changed a lot. And as I was traveling through those little villages and kind of scoping out, where would our next place to live be? Prior to the van life, we spent 6 years on Maui, which was an incredible place. It's still at the top, if not the very top, of my list of most beautiful places on earth. I mean, it's just an amazing, amazing island. I'm a huge fan of the ocean and scuba diving and marine life, and did turtle rescue while I was out there. And just a great place, but it's a small island. And after a while, I just felt like I had done everything that I wanted to do there, if not once, maybe 100 times. So it was time to move on, and that's why we hopped in the van and did a 2-year stint of full-time van life. But during that whole time of traveling, I was always setting my sights on where's the next place to land, where are we going to be? And there was nowhere else really in the U.S. that has any appeal to me at all. Nothing to do with politics or any of the stuff that people are all wound up over on social media and all that stuff. I just couldn't find a place that really wowed me, that I was like, yeah, I need to go there next. Kind of the way that Maui grabbed me the first time I went there. It was an immediate drop everything and move. This place is amazing. I just didn't have that feeling for anywhere else. But what I did really learn to like were the small villages and the kind of the rural parts of Central America where you might have to travel an hour or 2 or 3 to get to a city that has any sort of chain stores or Home Depot type equivalent. But I like being remote, and not so remote that there was absolutely nothing. But a good selection of maybe some small mom and pop restaurants, or markets, or at least some places to some street food or vegetable markets, that type of thing. And I was looking at a lot of those in not so much Costa Rica, but Panama, especially Nicaragua. There's a lot of these little small towns that I really could see myself just nestling into and being pretty content there. I'll tell you, living in a 60 square foot van in Central America will make you really change your perspective on how much room you need and what amenities you need. When you roll into a campground dying for a shower, and all there is just like this slimy concrete cell-like shower stall with a bare pipe sticking out of the wall with only cold water coming out of it. Some of those days, that was the most amazing sight I had ever seen. I mean, it was just so nice to have that. So really living for 2 years under those conditions, and we stayed at some nice places too. Don't get me wrong, but like, point being is it really just made me realize that like we don't need fancy stuff. And living in a van with no home base, no storage unit, like we really got our personal possessions down to, I mean, just the absolute bare essentials. Where, like 2 forks, 2 spoons, 2 coffee mugs, couple of plates, and absolute bare essentials. So, really changed my perspective on what I wanted and what I needed, and kind of becoming enamored with the Central American villages. I got thinking, well, hey, this is a whole new place. We could certainly set up shop in any of those countries, and it's nice because the time zone is relatively the same as the U.S. So if I need to interact with anybody there, I'd be able to do that. But like everything that was attracting me to those small places, like we have this here in Pechabun, and Pinky has connections here. She has her family here. She loves her family. She loves spending time with her family. So it was like, why set up in a new place when we have this village, which we always kind of thought that we'd land in at some point? Let's just expedite it and do it now. So here we are. So the one of the big factors for me too is, if anybody knows me, I'm a real estate investor. I've been doing that for 20 some odd years, and I have had various businesses over the years, and various degrees of success or not, depending on the endeavor. But at age 48 now, I'm sick of grinding. I'm just tired of it, and I'm tired of the rat race of work more so you can buy more, work more so you can buy more. And I'm not like, I don't want to go all hippie and preachy, because that's I'm not saying that anybody should do what I'm doing. This works for me. I'm not preaching that anybody else should do this, or I'm not anti-capitalism, of course, or any of this other stuff. I am just tired of like this work mentality where you work, you spend it, you work, you spend it, you work, you spend it. Over the past 3-4 years, I have just put such an incredible focus on my physical health and just mental well-being that's really all that matters at this point, or the thing that matters most, which I will preach, and I think that should be people's priority, however you get there, whether it's through work or otherwise. But are people truly content and fulfilled and happy with what they're doing, or are they just trapped in a job making money so they can pay for stuff they don't need, but it's impulse buy, and it quells the pain of their miserable life that they're living maybe on somebody else's behalf, or for somebody else, or for a spouse that they shouldn't be with, or kids they shouldn't have had, or any of these kind of things. I just want to be simple and content, and I think that this is the way to further that. And it's a big gamble. I mean, I am most terrified of anything here, of really becoming bored. And maybe I thought, that I wouldn't at this point, but still in the back of my mind, or near the front of my mind, is the very real possibility that could still happen. And if it does, well, we took a chance, we risked moving out here, and we can always make a change. But for right now, I am giving full effort to this, and pretty excited about it, although apprehensive, but yeah, still very excited. So keeping myself busy. Got paint projects. I've got a list of projects a mile long. I'll never get to all of them, but this is the type of stuff that does give me fulfillment, is to be able to work on my own little space. And from here, I'm excited to raise the fish that we've got in the pond, to raise chickens, and really try to produce. I'm certainly not going to be off grid, but try to produce as much of my own food as I can. And what we can't produce, we'll be able to get in town. And just try this kind of slower lifestyle for a bit. What are you doing?
Go take my cow to eat.
Okay. Is this Mama cow?
Mm-hmm. It's Mama.
Hi, Mama cow.
Baby.
Oh, the little baby.
Yeah.
All right, carry on. Oh, got a straggler. Come on, you're missing out. The cost of living in Thailand, especially in this part, is extraordinarily cheap, which was an obvious draw. All of Thailand is fairly cheap, but of course, if you're down in the touristy areas, you're going to expect to pay a little more than you are out here in the country. And I guess like anywhere, if you want to spend a absolute ton of money and completely lose your mind and you drink a lot and you just want to party all the time, Thailand's happy to take all your money. But if you're reasonably careful, you can live a very full life for not bad money. And everything from real estate purchases to just general cost of living in terms of food and utilities and that sort of thing. And maybe at some point I'll do a deep dive into the financials of our house and kind of what it costs us to live. But I'm going to wait on that because I just don't have all the data yet. We're new here. I've got some kind of thoughts in mind, and I know obviously what we paid for the house, but that's going to be material, I think, for a future video. But at this point, like, it's been so nice that pretty much all of the food that we've eaten, because we don't have a real kitchen set up yet, has been out either at the local markets or like the little street markets or the little mom and pop noodle shops and that type of thing. And I mean, every day I can go down to the market and get fresh grilled chicken with some rice and like a full meal, like a half chicken with some rice for like $1.50 US. I mean, most of the meals that Pinky and I have consumed are $1 to $3 each, where, you know, chicken or maybe squid, which might be, 50 cents or $1 more, but legit, like, fresh, authentic Thai food, super cheap. So we'll go out to eat and spend $4 or $5. I mean, it's great. And I don't drink anymore. I haven't had a drink in 3 years, so that obviously keeps the cost down. Pinky will drink occasionally, maybe one drink a month or something. So like, we don't have big bar tabs. There was a day when certainly had large bar tabs, but those days for me are over. The house here, way less than what I would have paid almost anywhere in the U.S. I mean, well below six figures, and property taxes I think are like $2 or $3 a year. So it is, just remarkably cheap. So from what I've read, what I've figured so far, if you're super frugal, you can easily live for $2,000 a month for a couple. We expect to do some travel. I mean, Bangkok's a 4-hour ride, and from there you can get flights to anywhere in the world, but especially cheap flights to other parts of Asia, which I'm still very excited to explore: Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia. You can get a cheap flight to Singapore, which is one of my favorite places in the world. We still expect to do a fair amount of travel outside of Thailand and also within Thailand. There's a bunch of stuff here in Thailand that I haven't seen yet. I've traveled quite a bit around the country, but I certainly haven't seen everything. So, I'm figuring if we can get by on $3,000 a month for the both of us, that should be more than enough, but we'll see. I'm going to track things very closely to start, just because I want to pay attention to how things fall into place and be able to adjust from there. There's some pretty sizable improvements that I want to do to the house and the property, but I'm going to wait and just kind of let the dust settle for a period of time. We've got these kind of initial upgrades and appliances and stuff that we need to do, paint and some safety upgrades and things like that for the house. But the other stuff, maybe expanding the pond and reworking some of the land, I'm going to wait just to see how the finances track over the first handful of months and be able to make a better decision from there. But I think either way, it's going to be a very inexpensive way to live. And one of my downfalls is when I get bored, I like to spend money on things that make me not bored, as temporary as that may be. So I've got to fight that urge a little bit, but I think I'm going to be able to stay engaged enough with the projects at hand, with the chickens we want to raise. I've got some other things that are fairly inexpensive but reasonably fulfilling, that I think is going to buy me quite a while. I'm hoping at least a year or two, which seems to be my typical expiration date on things. Is I'm all in for a year or two, and then something needs to change. But we'll see. I hope it's longer than that. But if it's not, always willing to pivot. I mean, we brought, I think, 5 suitcases, right, to get here. And if we need to leave with 5 or less, wouldn't be the first time I've left somewhere under those conditions. So we'll see. But right now I'm giving it a full effort and hoping like hell it succeeds. Okay, here we go. So this is pretty typical here. This is the most amazing like egg fried rice I've ever had in my life. That was what, $3? Is that even $3? This salad, we'll get rid of this dressing. This was I think like $1.25, really good. And then these chickens, this is the whole chicken, right? How much was that? A couple bucks, $3? 170. Yeah, so well under 10 bucks. We've got all this food. Got some extra chickens I'll throw in the fridge so I can have them for breakfast. But really, really good stuff. Now they like to use a lot of seed oil and garbage cooking oil, so beware on that stuff. I only eat in moderation, and I'm looking for a healthier alternative that I can make at home. But right now, this is just amazing. Here's the remnants of some sort of house blessing, which I guess is customary when you move into a new property. Pinky sat out in the lawn for like a half an hour with this stuff and some incense. I don't know if it's Buddhist tradition or what's going on here, but yeah, got a pig head sitting on top of our AC compressor right now. Hey, Pinky.
What?
Why is there a pig head on the...
Because we have to let the land who protecting this land before an order that's like good to give us.
So that's like an offering to the...
Yeah.
To who?
Offering who dead to stay here long times ago.
Whoever died here?
Us, yeah. Whoever died here own this land before.
Okay.
To like protect us and whatever. We tell them we own this land. We come to like stay here, want to be good in this. Okay.
And they're okay with that?
I hope so.
We hope so. Yeah, I hope so too. Yeah. Okay. Pinky's a happy camper today. We've got the new gas stove top here, which she picked out. And I don't know, that looks to me like more of a kind of flush mount or surface mount unit, which would sit in a recess in the cabinet, but she wanted that one specifically. The old one we pulled out, you can see this pile of junk here. The ones that are designed to sit on a countertop have like kind of the front designed that way. But for whatever reason, she wanted that exact unit. So here it is. I'll probably like build up some sort of brick or some sort of enclosure here, maybe, or in all honesty, probably after a couple days, I won't even notice it anymore and I'll never do anything with it. So good to have gas stove, so now we can actually prepare our own food. Also today, I have been running around installing new bath fixtures and sink fixtures and that type of stuff. Both bathrooms have been outfitted with some new hardware, which is nice. No floods. I actually did it without destroying the place, which is nice. And then got my office pretty much dialed in. I had some calls here that I had to do this morning, so I kind of moved in prematurely, and it's really echoey in here, so that's why I had to put the just like curtains draped over stuff to try to deaden the sound. But got one more. I don't know if I need a full second coat. I went pretty heavy on the first coat, so just touch up a few spots that are in need of it. And other than that, pretty happy with the way this room came out. Allow me to give you guys a look at the project of the week here. So let me start by saying I have been, or tried to be, very open and accommodating and aware of the cultural differences between what I'm used to in the US, let's clean that up a little bit, and what goes on here in Thailand. So in the US, I am familiar with the fact of when you buy property, you own the property, you have all the rights to the property, and it's clearly outlined in a deed, which is a similar situation here in Thailand. However, a lot of the land is generational. It's been passed down father to son to grandson and so on for decades, if not hundreds of years. So this land that we bought here for the farm kind of falls into that category where I don't know how far back it goes, but it's certainly generational. It's been passed down and passed down. And this is a very small community, very small village. So a lot of the people here are already related, and there's a lot of crossover in terms of like it's their land, but somebody else has. Oh, let me give Princess here access. Jesus. That was close. So anyway, where was I? Oh, the just land rights stuff. There's a lot of just informal, uncles, brothers, cousins, whatever, coming over, using your land, doing whatever, which I'm fine with, to a point. Pinky's family has been incredibly helpful since we've been here. Her father, her brothers, helping clean up the lot and just get things ready. And I have no issue with them coming over anytime they want, announced, unannounced, whatever, using the land, bringing their cows over here, all that kind of stuff. Where I've had an issue is just a stream of other randos coming and going across the property. So the other day, for example, I was in our kitchen painting, and this guy who I didn't recognize walks in, sits down at the kitchen table, and starts talking to me. Didn't knock, nothing, just walks in, sits down at the kitchen table, talking to me in Thai, which I don't understand. I obviously show him that I don't understand just by my complete lack of response in anything but English. We converse or attempt to converse for about 15 seconds, when finally I give up and I just go back to painting, leaving the guy sitting at the kitchen table. I give the guy the benefit of the doubt that it's one of Pinky's relatives. So, my first inclination would be like, get the hell out of my kitchen, man. But assuming it's one of Pinky's relatives, I just let him sit there until he gets bored and he finally gets up and walks away. Well, talking to Pinky later, she had no idea who the guy was. Just a random guy from the neighborhood who shows up. Later that day, I had another guy ride his motorbike up the road here and like cut down some bamboo and drag it out. We have no idea who that guy was. And some other guy just stopped by to ran up, took a piss in the bushes and said that this is his favorite spot to pee and drove off. So, okay, enough is enough. Time for a gate. So Pinky's father and brother came over, and obviously there's no fence to go along with this gate, so it's not a massive security measure, but it at least gives the indication that we don't necessarily want people here and blocks at least vehicular traffic. So the bamboo pirates and the guy riding his bike up the road just to take a piss in the backfield there, hopefully we'll now find somewhere else. So within I think 3 days, Pinky's dad and her brother, who happens to be hobbling around with a broken foot and on crutches, put this thing together. And I think we've got less than 300, maybe even less than 200 in materials, which is baffling to me given the amount of metal and concrete and rebar and the concrete posts and all this stuff. Her brother fabricated this whole fence. He stick welded every piece of this thing, which is the preferred method of metal fastening here is stick welding, ground down as welds. I mean, it really, really looks good. The track is just made out of a piece of angle iron. And we've still got to have them pour the concrete for the rest of the track, but this thing definitely functions well and will serve the intended purpose of hopefully keeping the pirates at bay here. So I'm still going to slap a coat of paint on it. We haven't decided what color we want it, but I'll take up painting duties. I was some help in the construction of this thing, just as a laborer shoveling and mixing concrete, but I think for the most part I was in the way, so I just kind of let them do their thing. And we're all into this thing, materials and labor, for like well under $1,000. I think probably less than $500, which is crazy because I think in comparison to the last security gate project that I was involved with in Hawaii was like $15,000. So for what you can get done in the U.S. versus what you can get done in Thailand, it's pretty cheap money. So that's the new gate.